Ladies and gentlemen, what is poppin'? Series 10 rules have been announced. In this video, guys, we're going to be going over what the rules are, and it is the biggest shakeup we have ever had. And I'm going to be talking about a bunch of Pokemon that are getting buffed from these rules. Pokemon that were not really viable before, a ton are now so much better, and a ton of Pokemon have gotten a lot worse as well. So guys, let's get into it. So, Series 10 rules. First and foremost, I want to tell you guys, it does not start until August 1st, an entire month. Today, as I'm recording this, it is July 1st, okay? So it does not start for an entire month. So don't get your hopes up completely. The ladder is still going to be Series 9, but it'll be from August 1st to the end of August, only August 31st. That's actually, well, they do the same rule for another month. So I guess that's, we'll have to see if it goes any longer than that. But it says only a month here, which is pretty weird. But guys, this is it, okay? DYNAMAX is not allowed. That is what the community has wanted for a really long time. Love it or hate it. People wanted to try out a Formax with no DYNAMAX, myself included. People, fans of the stream, people here all the time know that I don't like DYNAMAX at all. I've been playing VGC for almost 9 years now, and I don't like DYNAMAX at all. I'm extremely excited to play a format with no DYNAMAX, but there's more. You are allowed one restricted legendary on your team. Now, why they decided to do that, I don't really know. Series 8, ladies and gentlemen, was when we could have one restricted legendary, and DYNAMAX was allowed, of course, right? That had Pokemon like Zacian, Groudon, Kyogre, Calyrex Shadow, all those kinds of things at the tippy top of the format. So it's similar to that format, but there's no DYNAMAX. I think it is going to be massively different this time around. Are a lot of the same Pokemon still going to be extremely good, like Zacian, Kyogre, Calyrex Shadow? Yes, but I think a lot of them are actually going to be definitely worse now because of that change, and there's still a ton of stuff to go over. I am going to be going over a bunch of Pokemon that got buffed from this rule set and a bunch of Pokemon that got nerfed by this rule set. But whatever happens, I am extremely excited to play this format, and I cannot wait, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Okay, guys, let's start talking about some of the biggest buffed Pokemon in Series 10. First and foremost is Gothitelle. Now, people have actually been holding no DYNAMAX tournaments, grassroots tournament, and what they've been doing is banning the ability Shadow Tag, and it's because of Gothitelle, and banning things like Urshifu because Urshifu is dumb and kind of broken. That's why these Pokemon are so big. Unfortunately for Series 10, nothing is banned besides the fact that you can only have one legendary, so Gothitelle is allowed. Shadow Tag is I would say the best ability ever created in Pokemon. It is just like what Urshifu does. It takes away your opponent's options, okay? Like when you play Pokemon, something that you think that you always have the ability to do is click your 4 attacks, switch out, or attack. That's pretty much it. It's like switch out or attack, right? Gothitelle completely gets rid of the fact that you can switch out. It removes mechanics from the game. That is why Shadow Tag is so insane. You catch the right Pokemon in, you can just boom, 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 boom to just destroy the game just by catching the Pokemon, trapping him in, killing him, right? And Gothitelle now has Fake Out, which is insane. Shadow Tag plus Fake Out, it cannot be understated how insane Gothitelle will be. It will be good on offensive teams, trapping something in, killing them with the partner. It'll be great on defensive teams, trapping something in and setting up your partner, Fake Out, Trick Room, and then even Perish Song, guys. Gothitelle has been famously used on Perish Trap teams. And the fact that you can Fake Out, there's no DYNAMAX, guys. DYNAMAX is gone. Fake Out was already an amazing move, and now it's just even better. So Gothitelle is going to be used everywhere. You have to watch out for Gothitelle. It's going to be one of the best Pokemon in the game. I guarantee it. Next up, guys, talking about removing mechanics from the game is Urshifu. Both Single Strike and Rapid Strike. To be honest, these Pokemon are going to be extremely annoying. They hit through Protect, okay? We've already felt how annoying Urshifu is, and they guarantee crit, of course. So they remove 2 mechanics from the game. Protecting your Pokemon, they break through it, and then mitigating damage through Intimidate. When you critically strike, you ignore your own attack drops. Urshifu ignores 2 mechanics from the game, both of them. And so they are going to be absolutely insane monsters. But keep in mind, Urshifus are fake outable. Of course, they don't have like inner focus or something like that. Fake out is going to be extremely good, but of course they can just protect and then hit you to the next turn. So both the Urshifus are going to be insanely high threats in this format. I'm not really looking forward to how strong Urshifu and them are going to be, but I would say they are even stronger because you can't just double the HP of one of your Pokemons, you know, and then they would take half the damage from the Wicked Blow or the Surging Strikes, right? Urshifu was an amazing Pokemon that never Dynamaxed. So now that Dynamax is gone, this thing is effectively just doing more damage. You can think of it like that. Urshifus are going to be a huge issue. Next up, guys, a historical powerhouse of VGC is, believe it or not, Snorlax. Snorlax had, you know, the G-Max form with the 50% chance to eat its berry again, which was cool and all, but the thing is with how immensely powerful Dynamax is, it was extremely hard for Snorlax to even get up that belly drum in the first place because, you know, its partner would either just die while the other team gets up a Max Knuckle, a Max Airstream, a Max Steel Spike, something like that, while Snorlax is just over twiddling its thumbs trying to get the belly drum up. Well, here's the thing. There's no Dynamax. There's no like insanely crazy high offensive thing that just changes the whole form of the game. So Pokemon that rely on setup moves such as Snorlax, such as Xerneas, because this is a one legendary allowed format, are insanely good. Now, if you guys didn't actually know about what Snorlax can actually do, is Snorlax has the ability to use Recycle. Recycle gives it its item back. So Snorlax belly drums down to half HP. Then with the Gluttony ability, it eats the berry, the 33% berry. It used to be 50. Imagine how insane that was. Snorlax used to be 50. Okay, and then you can just recycle your berry back and then just start killing stuff, and then like recycle whenever you need it, kill stuff, recycle, kill stuff, right? It's really that good. It becomes this big wall. When it's protected by things like screens, Incineroar with Fake Out, Follow Me, it becomes hard to kill and just starts destroying your team. So guys, you gotta respect the Fat Man Snorlax. It's gonna be very, very good coming up. Galarian Zapdos is next on my list, guys, because Defiant is such an insanely great ability, but Pokemon like Incineroar, Hitmontop, Scrafty, these Intimidate Fake Outers are going to be way better. And you know what does great against those? Defiant Pokemon. And then the thing about Zapdos is it is extremely strong, useful, and viable outside of Dynamax. The reason I bring that up is because our premier kind of Defiant users we've seen in the past were Thundurus. You know, that was the #1 ever since it came out in the Crown Tundra. Thundurus was the #1 Defiant guy because his Dynamax was insane with Max Airstream, but he was really poor outside of Max. Wild Charge isn't an amazing move. Fly is pretty doo-doo. U-turn, Iron Tail, it's all these really bad moves, okay, that Thundurus has to use, and it's really squishy. Now, when you scroll down and look at Zapdos' defensive stats, 90, 90, 90, that's nothing to scoff at. That's like respectable bulk on what you would think is an extremely offensive Pokemon. Flying Fighting is great offensive typing for sure. Hits a ton of stuff in the game. Fighting hits all the dark types. Flying, the bugs and grasses. It's really, really good. And then Zapdos on top of that gets like really good moves like Brave Bird, Drill Peck. I'm just scrolling down live right now. It gets the Thunderous Kick. It's special move that has the chance of lowering defense. It might even be 100%. Is it 100%? 100% chance, 90, 100. That's a great attack. And then it gets Coaching. It gets Taunt. This is a really, really good mon, and I think it's probably going to be the best Defiant mon that we have in the format. I think Pokemon like Milotic and Braviary, they're going to be pretty good, but I think Thundurus is going to kind of take a backseat. I think it's a little worse than it might have been in the past formats with Dynamax, but I think Zapdos is going to be on your radar, guys. This Pokemon's really good. This is a Pokemon you might have kind of just forgot about, but Nidoking. Nidoking and Nidoqueen, okay? They are pretty similar. Nidoqueen is just a little bit slower, a little bit weaker, but bulkier. Nidoking, stronger, but more frail. Poison Ground, awesome offensive typing. They get everything in the game, like Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Flamethrower, you name it, Earth Power, Sludge Bomb. And this is the big selling point, chat, is the ability Sheer Force. If you didn't know this, a Pokemon with Sheer Force, let me show you what Sheer Force does, right? Sheer Force increases the power of moves that have a beneficial secondary effect by 30%, but it removes that effect. So when you click Earth Power, your Earth Power hits 30% more for 30% more damage, but you don't have the 10% chance to lower special defense. Who cares? You're doing a ton of damage. I don't care about the 10% drop. And the big thing, guys, right here. If the user is holding a life orb and the user's attack activates Sheer Force, it will not receive the 10% damage, but it still gets the boost. A total of 69% base power. That's a nice boost, chat. That's a nice boost to damage, but no joke, it does a ton of damage with a ton of coverage moves. Like I said, Ice Beam, Flamethrower, you name it. And it doesn't take the Life Orb recoil. So I think Nidoking and Nidoqueen are going to be a lot more viable of attackers. Now, they are going to have to, you know, go head to head with Kyogre, Xerneas, because unfortunately we have legendaries for some reason in this format. But don't sleep on Nidoking and Nidoqueen. They're actually really good. This one is not a surprise, guys. Draco Vish. Strong Jaw Fishious Rend or Sand Rush Fishious Rend with Tyranitar. There's not a whole lot to say about Draco Vish. It's kind of that Urshifu effect where when it gets the attack off in the perfect situation, it just does a ton of damage. It just wipes the floor with people. And now they don't have a Dynamax to double their health. So well played, Draco Vish. It's a hyper offensive mon. It's going to clap cheeks. Ludicolo has historically been an amazing Pokemon in VGC in pretty much every format it's ever been used in. It would, you know, use Waterium Z in the Z formats. It would be paired with Kyogre all the way back in like 2008, 2009. Ludicolo is an amazing switch swimmer. Water Grass is phenomenal offensive and defensive typing. It's moving super fast with Swift Swim. And then if I didn't say enough how good Fake Out is going to be when we need to stop things like Kyogre, Tailwinds from Torn, stuff like that. We need to fake out Zacian, right? Ludicolo has Fake Out as well. Now, when you look at Ludicolo's stats, they honestly don't look amazing. They leave a bit to be desired, right? But this speed is doubled in the rain. And then, like I said, big grass moves coming off of the stab, and then the water, rain boosted stab moves from Ludicolo. It does hit surprisingly hard. It's got the Ice Beam coverage. And I legit think that Rain with Ludicolo is going to become pretty good. I think with no Dynamax on the table at all, I would probably argue that Ludicolo is a better option than Kingdra. So I think Rain's going to pick up a little bit. And I think Ludicolo is going to kind of start replacing Kingdra a bit on those kinds of teams. Next up is Aegislash, guys. The Steel Ghost behemoth of damage and defensive prowess. Now, you may be asking, why was Aegislash never used before in the Dynamax format? This was the problem with Aegislash. If you don't know how Aegislash works, this is its stats before it attacks. When it attacks, it switches its defenses, so it hits really hard. And then you use the move King's Shield, which is like Protect. It immediately switches you back to your shield form and protects you from all damage. Okay, so it's like Protect. But it's actually, you can still get Leech Seeded, Burned, Taunted, stuff like that. It just protects you from damage. But that was the thing. If Aegislash ever Dynamax, it would change forms into the attack form. And then when you click Max Guard, it would never change you back. You would stay in the Blade form in your Dynamax with these really bad defensive stats. So you would just get clapped. Max Guard, for some reason, just wouldn't change the Aegislash. But Aegislash can change its form back now whenever it wants. And its stats are insane, because you can think about it. When it attacks, it has these stats. And when it gets hit, it has these stats, if you're playing right, which are amazing stats. If you guys didn't know, Aegislash used to be 150, and they actually nerfed him. So Aegislash is nerfed, you know, from past generations, but I still think it's gonna be a really good Pokemon, guys. Is it going to be meta breaking, one of the best Pokemon in the game? No, but I think its viability is going to go up a ton. Guys, I just wanna talk about Dusclops and Porygon 2. These are the insanely bulky Eviolite support Pokemon. Trick Room setting, Eerie Impulsing, Hazing, Will-O-Wisping, you name it. These Pokemon are really versatile and extremely bulky. But you would occasionally see your Porygon 2 or your Dusclops get one-shot by some Max Phantasm, some Max Darkness, something like that, right? And with no Dynamax, we don't have to worry about that anymore. These Pokemon are just insanely bulky. So I think things like Taunt are gonna pop up even more to kind of try and shut these Pokemon down, because you're gonna have to kind of whittle these Pokemon down over the turns and make them feel more useless, instead of just like having a plan to just clap them in one hit, which is still totally possible. Don't get me wrong. You can still one-shot these Pokemon with like a double tap or something like that, but they're going to be even bulkier and even more annoying for you to deal with. Next up is Mandibuzz, guys. Mandibuzz is an amazing support Pokemon. It's super bulky. Look at this, 110, 105, 95. Mandibuzz commonly is holding things like Psychic Seed, Misty Seed, that kind of stuff. So you send it out with Feeny or Lele, and then it just gets a boost. It gets even bulkier, and then it can sit there and Tailwind, Snarl, Foul Play, all of these kinds of taunt, all these really useful support moves Mandibuzz can do and be extremely bulky while putting out good damage with Foul Play. I don't really know if Mandibuzz is going to be insane just because of really annoying Pokemon like Regieleki And then even some of the legendaries are going to be probably a little too powerful for Mandibuzz to deal with, like Zacian and maybe even Kyogre. But Mandibuzz is definitely better than it was now that Dynamax is gone. I can promise you that much. So watch out for Mandibuzz, and it could be really good and viable. Someone in chat mentioned, is Umbreon just better than Mandibuzz? No, Mandibuzz gets Tailwind, extremely good. And Mandibuzz has Roost, so it's also able to heal itself, just like Umbreon is able to do. So they do different things, but it really depends on your team, synergy, stuff like that. They're both viable Pokemon. From one baddie to another, it's Serena. Now, why is Serena going to be so good? Because of its ability, Queenly Majesty. You are now, your partner and yourself are immune to priority moves. And I'm starting to sound like a broken record. Fake Out is going to be essential for stopping a lot of teams. So people need answers. You know, they're going to have Psychic Train with Indeedee or Tapu Lele. They're going to have Queenly Majesty Serena for these hyper offensive teams. Things like Torn Ogre. Things like Calyrex Shadow. All these Pokemon that really fear getting hit with Fake Out, Thunder Wave, something like that, is where Pokemon like Serena and Quick Guard and Indeedee Female are going to come into play. Serena is going to be very, very good for these hyper offensive teams. I'm excited about Crobat, guys, because he's just pretty cool. And he's been a little bit underused in all of Sword and Shield. I mean, I'd say he's been extremely underused. But, once again, immune to Fake Out. He cannot get flinched because of Inner Focus. This is a Tailwinder that is immune to Fake Out naturally. Whimsicott can get Fake Out and knocked out. Talonflame can get faked out, lose its Gale Wings. Tornadus can get faked out, especially because it's flying. It's not going to be affected by Psychic Train, etc. Crobat doesn't worry about that. Crobat will get the Tailwind off so long as it doesn't get knocked out first, right? So I think Inner Focus Tailwind is a big one. And then I'm also going to be making a video talking about moves that are now good, but Super Fang is now viable. I'll give you a little sneak peek. Crobat is really fast. Tailwind, Super Fang, Taunt, Haze, you name it. Lots of great moves. Crobat's going to be good. This is our final Pokemon that I think is going to be better now that Dynamax is gone for this format. It's Alolan Persian. Alolan Persian has always been an amazing support Pokemon. It gets things like Fake Out, Taunt, Snarl, Parting Shot. Now, it's similar to Incineroar, you'd think, right? But it is, we'll just scroll down here, way faster. But the base stats don't look very good. Alolan Persian gets Fur Coat as its ability, which doubles its defense effectively. Its defense stat is effectively doubled at all times. It's not something like Fluffy, where it's only physical contact moves and it doesn't have like a, downside to taking more fire damage like Fluffy does. Rip Fluffy, rip my boy, beware. But Fur Coat is just insanely good. So you are bulky, you are fast, you support the team. Fast Icy Wind, for example, comes out of Persian too. I think Persian is going to be really good, and it's going to be great on those bulky, cycling, Parting Shot, Faking Out kind of cores. But okay, guys, we're going to talk about the Pokemon that I think have been nerfed or are a lot worse now that Dynamax is gone. And I mean, it is extremely obvious to point out, but a ton of the Gigantamax Pokemon are going to be a lot worse. So let's start with Venusaur. Venusaur without Vine Lash, without the fear of like, is it going to Sleep Powder me or is it going to max and destroy me? It can't do that anymore. Now, do I think it'll still be used? Honestly, a little bit. I think Groudon Venusaur is still pretty good. Venusaur is just like a Sleep Powder bot, pretty much. You know, doing a little bit of chip damage here with grass and poison moves when it can. But it is, at the end of the day, like a Sleep Powder bot. And I don't know if it's going to hold up. I think it is going to be okay, but significantly worse, and I welcome that. Charizard is next. I would say Charizard is probably just not viable at all whatsoever. Charizard has never been good in VGC, except for when it got Megas. Mega Form Y and Mega Form X. Charizard was then pretty good. But then it faded into obscurity again when the Megas left. Well, no, it went straight from Megas to Max moves, actually. So, never mind. I think Charizard is going to be practically unusable, unfortunately. Blastoise, I think, is going to be practically unusable. There's not really a point. Blastoise doesn't get Follow Me in VGC like it does in like singles or Smog on doubles, stuff like that. Those are some big ones. I think the next big one is Colossal. This is very obvious. It's a big one. Colossal is going to be really way worse. When you surf your Colossal with Dragon Pulse, when you Aqua Jet it with Urshifu, you are doing like anywhere between like 20 and like 40% to Colossal. So double that. You are now doing 40 to 80% to your own Pokemon. And then you're not even hitting with a max move. You're hitting with like Heat Wave, Power, ancient power, you can't meteor beam in the same turn. Earth power, Colossal already hits like a wet noodle sometimes. Even after the weakness policy, it doesn't hit that hard. I think people are gonna try and kind of like meme with Colossal with things like Blacephalon, Mind Blown, maybe some Lava Plumer with like power or meteor beam, but it's really just not very good. It doesn't do a ton of damage, it gets clapped. I think people are gonna try. I think Colossal is pretty much gone. I think it's bad, and I'm very happy about that. Next up is Lapras, guys. Lapdog, all that kind of stuff is kind of just gone. Lapras obviously can't set up dual screens and get super bulky. It's kind of just back to being its relatively mediocre self. You know, it's seen some play with just like being a bulky water ice type with Perish Song, Helping Hand, stuff like that. Yeah, Lapras is going to be a lot worse in my opinion for sure. And then finally, not popular G-Max Pokemon, but I would say Pokemon that Dynamax practically every single time you see them. Regigigas. Now, you could still be Weezing Regigigas, right? So you're still this Pokemon with these stats, but you can't run Giga Impact. You're gonna have to run something like Body Slam. No big max hailstorms, max quakes, max strike for speed control. Those were some of the things that made Regigigas Weezing so good, was you like lower their speed with max strike and then you burn them first, or you taunt them first with Weezing, stuff like that. And I think that's kind of just gone. You know, I could see it being relatively usable, to be honest, but it's probably not going to be usable, to be honest. I think it's a lot worse now. Dragapult has been an amazing Pokemon. I think maybe a support Dragapult type thing could still be really good, but this offensive powerhouse Dragapult, Shadow Sneak, weakness policy, massive life orb attacks, Dragon Dance sets, I don't really think that they're gonna be here anymore because Dragapult's attack moves are very bad. Like Dragon Darts is not an amazing move just because it hits. It's good sometimes, it's very situational, but it's like half the damage you want to do to both targets. And then Phantom Force as a physical ghost stab is just not a good move. Like we've seen Phantom Force be annoying pretty much just because of Dynamax as a whole, because you could like potentially dodge a max move or like force them to miss an attack because of Phantom Force, that kind of stuff. His physical attacks are pretty bad, and then you could be like, well, I'll just run special. And to be honest, do you think 100 special attack is really going to cut it in this format with like legendaries everywhere, all that kind of stuff? I personally don't really think so. So I think Dragapult is honestly going to take a big hit in this next format. Finally, our boy Metagross has been a really big weakness policy abuser, I would say. There's a lot of other weakness policy abusers, but I kind of already did talk about some of them. Dragapult, Colossal, for example. I think Metagross is still going to be pretty usable. Like you can still be like inner focus bulldoze or Spectrier bulldoze that can't get faked out, and then you activate the weakness policy, clear body doesn't lower the speed, and you still do a bunch of damage to Metagross. I think it's still possible. Like we've seen weakness policy Metagross work in metas like 2017. It was actually like a viable strategy with Salamence Metagross. So yeah, I think Metagross is going to take a hit, but I honestly think it is usable. I think it is usable. Honestly, now that I think about it, maybe not in this legendary format, but if we had a format with no Dynamax and no legendaries, I think Metagross would be good in that one. But with the legendaries, I think he's kind of got his work cut out for him. Alrighty guys, that is going to do it for my little Series 10 breakdown, explaining what the rules are and talking about Pokemon that I think got massively buffed and some Pokemon that I think got massively nerfed. Thank you guys so much for watching my channel. Thank you to everybody here watching live here on Twitch. I stream 5 days a week. I know I've been a little bit MIA on the YouTube, but I'm live all the time on Twitch, guys. And I'd love it if you guys came and checked this out. But more Series 10 content coming, and there's some more big changes coming in the world of Eakes that I will be announcing pretty soon on the YouTube for you guys. So guys, once again, thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. Drop a like on the vid, comment, all that stuff. It really does go a long way. I read every comment. And guys, I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.